You guys read this book?
No.
You guys, it's so good.
I want to read it. Will you read it to us?
Yes. I'll read it to you with the pictures and everything. It is legit.
Ooh, the art's really pretty.
Yeah. I'll read you guys this book.
Yes.
A long time ago, and an old man lived by himself in the deep, big woods. His cabin only had one room, and that room was his parlor, his bedroom, his dining room, and his kitchen, too. Uno, one was called Eno, and one was called Comty Calico. One day, the old man decided to go hunting to catch something for his supper. Here, 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 he shouted to his dogs, and they came bounding off the porch, eager for the chase. He's going hunting. After many hours of hunting, the wind began to blow hard from the valley. It'll be dark soon, the old man said, and all we've caught is this skinny rabbit. He headed for home, afraid he might go to bed hungry that night. The old man cooked and ate the rabbit and gave the bones to his dogs. Then he leaned back in his chair and watched the moon as it rose up big and full. Then the wind whistled around the cabin. Just as the old man was about to doze off, a most curious creature crept through a crack between the logs in the wall. It had a big, long, furry tail. As soon as the old man saw the varmint, he reached for his hatchet, and with one lick he cut the tail off. Before the man could raise his hatchet a second time, the creature slipped out the crack and ran away.
He needs to patch up his house.
Yeah.
I know, right? The old man was still hungry, so he took that big, long tail, cooked it, and ate it. After that, he stuffed up the crack in the wall and went to bed.
Ew.
I know, right?
There's not a lot of meat on tail.
I know, right? And it was fluffy. It was mostly just fluffy. His stomach was full, and he felt so warm and snug that before he knew it, he was asleep. The old man hadn't been asleep very long when he woke up, and something was climbing up the side of his cabin. It sounded like a cat. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Who's that? The old man asked. He lay still and listened, and after a while he heard a voice say, "Tailypo, Tailypo, all I want is my Tailypo." The scratching went on, and the old man began to shiver and shake. Then he remembered his dogs. He went to the door and called, "Here, here, here." The dogs came piling out from under the porch, and with their noses to the ground, they chased that thing into the deep, big woods. Mm-hmm. The old man pulled his covers tightly up around him and went back to sleep. In the middle of the night, he woke up again. Now he heard something trying to get right above the cabin door. "What's that?" he called. And what do you want at this time of the night when all good folks should be in bed? Then he listened and could hear it going scratch, scratch, scratch. And then he heard the voice say, "Tailypo, Tailypo, I'm coming to get my Tailypo." The old man was so scared he couldn't stand up, so he called his dogs from his bed. "Uno, Eno, Comty Calico, here, here, here." And those dogs came bursting around the corner of the cabin. They caught up with that wild thing at the gate and tore the whole fence down trying to get at it. Then they chased it into the swamp, and at last it was quiet again. With a weary sigh, the man went back to sleep. Toward the morning, something down in the swamp woke up the old man. First he thought it was the wind blowing louder than usual. Then he listened again, and he heard a voice crying, "You know, and I know that all I want is my Tailypo." The old man called his dogs, "Here, here, here, Uno, Ito, Comty Calico." This time the dogs didn't come. The old man ran outside into the moonlight and called again, "Here, dogs, here, here, here." But there was no trace of them. There was just the sound of the wind blowing around the torn-down fence, and that thing had led the dogs way off in the swamp and lost them. Sadly, the man went back inside the cabin and shut and barred the door. Then he went back to bed. Just before daylight, the old man opened his eyes, the way people do when they feel there's something else in the room. Something was stirring among the pots and the pans, then something that sounded just like a cat began climbing up the covers at the foot of his bed. The man listened and heard it scratch, scratch, scratch. He looked over the foot of his bed and saw 2 pointed ears. Then he saw 2 big, round, fiery eyes staring at him. The man wanted to call for help, but he was too scared. That thing kept creeping up until it was right next to the old man. Then it said in a low voice, "You know, and I know. I'm here to get my Tailypo." The man sat up and pulled the covers over his head. All at once he got to his voice and said, "I haven't got your Tailypo." "Yes, you have," said the thing. "Yes, you have." And it jumped up on top of the man and scratched everything to pieces. Now there's nothing left of the old man's cabin in the deep big woods except the chimney. Though the folks who live in the valley say that when the moon shines and the wind blows, you can hear a voice say, "Tailypo, Tailypo. Now I've got my Tailypo."